Hey everyone, Jason Shapard here of MzeroA.com and welcome into day 16 of our 31-day to safer pilot challenge. In day 16, I actually want to kind of sit down with you guys and share with a story with you on why we sump our fuel. I was probably 18 years old at the time, brand new flight instructor, just had my first few students under my belt, living up in Jacksonville at the time, and I used to fly down on the weekends to visit my friends and families down here in Ocala. So I would borrow one of my students' aircraft, and we flew that down here. And the day I came down, I snuck in the good weather, and that night it poured. I mean, raining cats and dogs sort of stuff. The rain just came down. So I'm leaving the next day. I have a 7 o'clock appointment. It's real early in the morning. I'm out there, checking everything and really taking my time on my pre-flight. Again, I'm really big on taking time on your pre-flight when it's cold or when it's dark, because that's when you tend to miss stuff. So this was, we're leaving bright and early in the morning. It's super dark, so we're out there with a flashlight, we're checking everything, and it comes time to sump the fuel. And the one thing I notice about it is it's all consistent, however, the fuel is actually clear. The thing is, there was water in our fuel, but there was so much water. You've all seen the example where you hold up the nice blue 100 low lead and you have a few bubbles underneath that show a little bit of water in there. But I'm talking, we sumped this fuel and literally it looked like jet fuel because it was just clear. It was all water, and we kept sumping and sumping and sumping, and eventually we had to just bring out like the big 5-gallon bucket and just hold it up underneath there and just continue sumping into that bucket. You can imagine that was a pretty nerve-wracking flight for me, hoping we got everything out of there. What actually happened was the seal on top of the fuel cap had actually rotted away, and when it rained, it just allowed all that rainwater to pour into those fuel tanks. So we spent about an hour out there sumping all of this out, doing a very long run-up procedure, running up full RPMs, making sure that we have got all that water out of there. So that's why I want to share with you guys why we really take the time to sump our fuel. Your aircraft may be hangared, but you don't know what could happen. I always tell the story of the gentleman that came out the night before to pre-flight his airplane. He had a trip early in the morning, came out to pre-flight it, so he pre-flight it the day before, everything looked good. The next day, before his big trip, hops in the airplane, decides to head on out. It turns out that night, someone actually siphoned out and stole all of his fuel, literally out of his hangar, didn't even know it. And because he didn't pre-flight that day, because he thought he was doing himself, something good by pre-flighting the day before, really ended up to penalize him in the long run, as he ran into a fuel exhaustion problem. So take time on your pre-flight, take special time when you're sumping the fuel, when you're checking the quantity. Again, never trust those fuel gauges. Do a visual check. Get a fuel stick so you can check it that way. Okay, but take your time when it really comes to the lifeblood of your airplane, and that is your fuel. So that's all I have for you guys this week. I would really appreciate if you take some time, leave me a comment below this video on saferpilotchallenge.com so I can hear your stories with pre-flight experiences, with finding water in the fuel. I'd love to hear those stories, so let me know. And most importantly, guys, remember that a good pilot is always learning. Have a great day, guys. See ya.